Hey guys, my name is Betterbrick Studios, and today I'm going to be making a review of my LEGO Transformers G1 Megatron. And to start off, I hate this thing. Now let's get down to the review table and see exactly why I dislike this figure. That's not to say he looks bad or anything. He looks good in most aspects, but what he does lack is stability. I made this with very small connections and weak joints. This results in a severely compromised figure, but enough with the flaws. Let's look at the strengths. Gun mode, he's not that accurate to his G1 Walter P38 alt mode, so that leaves him looking just slightly off from the original character. In my defense, a gun is one of the most difficult things to turn a humanoid into, especially in the way that Megatron transforms. Now for the obligatory, I made a version 1. I made it back last year, and I did a review on it, which you can go check out. I made them to go along with my Optimus. For details, you can see most of his robot parts are covered up except for these leg sections down here and his hands on the back. In the front, you can see that he has this little sight on the front of the barrel, and then on top he has his big scope. For size comparisons, here we have Hoist, Grapple, Ultra Magnus, and yes, I did change the scale for leader class. And finally, himself, Megatron. As you can see, he doesn't really fit into that many size classes because he has quite an odd shape, which is hard to measure the size of. So, that's it for the comparisons. On to robot mode. So let's start with transformation. First, you're going to want to take the scope, take that off, and move it to the side. And then, you're going to basically just want to pull everything open. You can pull out the torso section here, edge this forward and up, lift it a little bit higher. This flap, first move this out of the way so you have better access. This flap just moves up and out of the way. The gun barrel will rotate up and hinge back. This panel here will hinge back. And that leaves most of the torso just open. And then you can wedge your fingernail in here and untab it. Untab the feet here. So this is where he gets very delicate, so you have to be careful for this process. Just fold out the legs and kind of curl this hinge assembly here up without breaking it. And this stud here will peg in there. Hopefully without it falling apart. And I'm just gonna hinge these legs back so that they're out of the way of the top section. You're gonna wanna bring the head up and rotate it out. And then this arm here, hinge it forward, it back, rotate, and kind of just maneuver the head around so that you can pull let's just leave this off to the side so that you can pull around this section. Head part here will rotate like so, straighten out the head, bring this panel down, and it will kind of tab in to the shoulder there, but it isn't a strong connection. Try not to make everything fall apart, but that's very difficult given how complex it is and its bad connections. Now for the arms, fold up this panel, fold the arm up, then down here, and then this will just cover up the gap. There you have one arm done, and then do the same for the other side. And there you have the other arm done. And then you can fold this panel back like so. And torso part will just hinge down. Fold these back. Kind of just adjust this here to be somewhat even. And we can get down to the legs, which I've decided to do separate because they're a pretty big hassle. First, fold out this panel like so. This will rotate like that. Flip out the toe. Bring this forward, and then slide this in. This is actually very, very hard to make, because I was trying to make a 2-stud wide leg turn into a 3-stud wide leg. That ended up with a lot of hinges and just panels. That leaves the leg very hollow. Then you're going to want to do the same thing on the other side. And finally, if you did decide to do the legs separate, just put them back. Soul transformation can be done without parts falling apart, but it just happens all the time due to the delicacy of his joints. But theoretically, it can transform without a single piece breaking off. So in robot mode, he looks good, but at the cost of all fun, because he falls apart everywhere. So let's just list all the places where he breaks. Number 1, we have the side leg here, which commonly falls off. And we have knee, the midsection, the chest, comes off like that sometimes. Inner shoulder here, snaps often. The head, and finally the shoulder. That was just an example of me breaking it intentionally, but it does break in those places often when I'm not trying to break it. Even so, that is 7 fatally bad stability issues, which just make me hate it. Although the head sculpt is actually pretty nice. For accessories, he has his fusion cannon, which just attaches to the arm with these studs here. And in my opinion, I think it looks really good on him. Now, for articulation time, he has an up and down at the head, side to side. Shoulders go forward, backward, out, in, and even some butterfly. Elbow bends. He has a waist swivel, ball-jointed hips, ball-jointed knee, and a secondary joint just below that. So for articulation, he is pretty average except for the double-jointed knee, and he can even pull off the classic Megatron fusion cannon pose. For size comparisons, here we have Hoist, Grapple, Ultra Magnus, and Megatron. So in robot mode, he is about the size of a Voyager class figure. Finish off, he looks good, and that's all he's got going for him. He's fatally delicate, and that just makes me wish I could have done better. I've been Betterick Studios, and I'll see you later.